Just a bit of a house call today. I actually came over to look at the 123 Wagon, but while I was here, we decided to have a look at the 124 Cabriolet. Nathan's had a bit of an issue where he wasn't able to start it and the remote central locking wasn't working. I just had a quick look at the car and noticed that fuse number C was blown. And if we look at the fuse legend for the Cabriolet, fuse number C does rear roof light, trunk light, rear door locking system, safety belt, handover arm, seat back arrestor, central locking system, door lights, reading lamps, automatic antenna. So it's pretty obvious we had an issue with that fuse because I noticed straight away the central locking wasn't working either. And there was no response from the infrared remote control. Normally you see the red for lock and green for unlock going on. And when it's in that state as well, you cannot start this car. The security system just prevents the starter motor from activating. I double checked that there was no current going to the starter motor via that connector that's up the front there. There was absolutely nothing going on there, so it wasn't even attempting to start. Turns out the problem was rather simple. In the process of looking for the central locking pump, because I assumed that's probably the culprit, or possibly one of these seatbelt handover arms, maybe they were causing the dead short, but when I looked in the rear, the trunk light here basically just fell out. And it's a real dog's breakfast as far as the quality of the wiring is concerned. So that's all it was. That was blowing the fuse. Presumably, I'm not 100% sure, but I assume the hydraulic pump for the roof is hiding down there, and this has been in and out so many times that it's been broken in the process, and we just need to fix up that wiring, and this car will be right as rain. I just disable the security again, and we can show that this thing is now starting perfectly. I'm just getting skewered by the seatbelt handover mechanism. Bingo. So that was a really nice, easy fix. Didn't even need to consult the service manual or look at the wiring diagram. It's really just a case of luck looking in the trunk, or boot as we call them in Australia, and the problem was really obvious straight away. So if you have one of these cars with a factory security system, cannot start, will not start, central locking, etc. is not even working, and that fuse is blown, I can't guarantee it's going to be this, but you need to check everything else that's on that circuit, because who would have thought a light that's falling to pieces would have blown the fuse for the central locking system. How embarrassing for him. This car hasn't been driven in months now. So this is the original flosser fuse that was in this car, in fuse position C. You can see it's well and truly blown there. These are the original fuses. They're actually kind of corroded, so I would recommend replacing them, although unfortunately you can only get the plastic ones nowadays. Personally, I would save the ceramic cores and refit the new plastic fuse material onto the ceramic cores, because plastic's just garbage and it ends up melting. I wouldn't be throwing away these, yeah, because they can be reused. So I've just done a bit of a repair here. I've got heat shrink and cloth tape applied and a bit of a zip tie just to make sure it doesn't come undone again. So that should be nice and safe now, and we've even put a bulb in there, so we'll give that a go. So that's the light reinstalled. It's currently in the pulled out position for extended periods of time with the lid open. So job's done. Yeah, I just mentioned to Nathan it's probably a good idea to leave this closed. Otherwise it's going to get all wrinkly if he just leaves it all bunched up in the rear, which it has started to do. Then again, he probably just needs to take it for a drive, which I'm sure he can do now that it actually starts. So this 123 Wagon had an interesting issue. When key position 2 was on and you turned the headlights on, the front wiper motors started to run endlessly, but it would not happen if the key position was in 0 and you could turn the headlights on. What it turned out being, after a bit of diagnosis, was a missing ground, and it was just the one on the front left headlight here. Just because this is a painted car, the connection was straight onto a painted surface and there was high resistance there, so that's all that was. Clean the paint off. Ideally a star washer should have gone there, but we couldn't find one, so it's just a clean new plain washer, so at some stage that may need to be done again. But anyway, that's all that was, and that's now working perfectly.